episode of the PMD Tea Buyers Club. I'm your host, Anandre Silva, and today we have a very different episode. We're talking tea and cheeses, specifically cheddar cheeses on this episode. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this into a three-part episode because I love cheese. We're coming into Christmas. A lot of people are going to be doing cheese boards for when they have family over, and usually people pair up cheese and wine. But what if you're teetotal? What if you've had enough to drink already on Christmas, as a lot of us do? You know, why not try something a bit left field, and why not go for tea and cheese? It's not something that a lot of people think of. People think of tea and biscuits, maybe tea and cake. But I'm telling you, tea and cheese has a lot of legs on it. It's something that I first experimented last year. In fact, I'm going to link it up below. A hotel called Ballethy House Hotel up in Perthshire in Scotland. Full disclosure, we supply them. They've got a great team up there, and big shout out, by the way, to Jodie, Gail, and to Scott and some of the other guys up there. They have some wonderful cheeses up there. In fact, they won the best cheese board last year. And while I was up there, we did a cheese and tea pairing. We you know, experimented with what cheeses on their cheese board would work with some of the teas that they have there as well. And we came up with some pretty interesting combinations. So this week I thought, why not change things up? I'm going with 4 cheddars today, and we're going to pair them up to some strong liquoring teas. But before I get on to that, I have some questions to answer. So the first question that I have, in fact I have one question to answer, and then I have a prediction to come back to. First question is from Liz. Doesn't say where you're from, and I won't give the surname because maybe you don't want to come out on the show. But it says, Dalanja, thank you so much for doing the show. Liz, you're very welcome. You taste a lot of teas. What is your favourite tea that you like to drink in the morning? This is an easy one. Planter's breakfast, every day, 7 days a week, have to start with it. Maybe I might taste something like a Murray, or maybe one of the Western Dimmullers in the morning, depending on what samples we have here. But usually, 99% of the time, it's always Planter's breakfast. And if you want to buy Planter's breakfast, click the link below. It's a fantastic tea. They also come in the tea bags as well. You can take them home with you. So that's the first thing. Second thing is Sri Lanka just lost the 3rd ODI in Hambantota today. Duckworth Lewis, overs reduced down to about 35 overs, I think, or 30 overs. England beat us. So Ben Simper, if you're watching, and I hope you are, your prediction of 4-3 England might come true. They've come back in the series, and so far, in fact, Ben Simper is completely on with his prediction. He said England would lose the first 2, but come back strong for the rest of them. So, 4th ODI, really looking forward to it. Now that's all finished, we can get back to the cheeses. So, cheddar cheese. Cheddar cheese now is made all around the world, but the first cheddar cheeses were actually made in Somerset. And Somerset is a county, if you're watching this around the world, Somerset is a county in the west of England. It's about, I'd say about 2.5 hours drive from London. And the first cheddars were actually made in the town of Cheddar in Somerset, and in the town they have caves and gorges, and this is where the cheddar was stored because there's a lot of humidity in there. And the town of Cheddar also loans its name to the cheddaring process, which is the turning of cheddars as the cheddar matures. So I've got 3 cheddars from Somerset. In fact, I've also got a tea from Somerset Estate in Nanaimo. And then I've also got a cheddar from Wales, which is known as a black bomber, which I'm looking forward to tasting. And this one I've tasted before. It's a pretty strong cheese. So let's get straight into it. In terms of teas, I've got a Somerset tea, seasonal pick from the Muller Tea Estate. I've also got a Portadua tea that we had a few episodes back. It's a BOP1 grade. I've then got a New Vithanakanda extra special flowery fannings, an Assam tea, and I'll talk about this more on another episode, but this is an Assam tea. And then I've got an Earl Grey, and then my wild pick tea is our Ceylon Souchong from Hundunagoda Estate in the southern point of Sri Lanka. Now I don't know which cheeses are going to go with which, so my reaction is going to give you guys an idea of what they're going to taste like. And I've also got, in fact, let me grab it from here. a glass of water. In fact, this is the jigger and pint glass from the Old Course Hotel to help me cleanse my palate between tasting. So I'm going to start off with some water. More than anything, it's because I'm actually quite thirsty. And let's get straight into them. So the first cheese I've got here is a Montgomery Cheddar. Anyone who knows me will know that I absolutely love cheeses. So let's have a sniff. Very strong. Sea salt kind of smell coming out. Very thick, very creamy. You're getting a slight bitter, salty taste at the back of your palate. It's quite a strong cheese. As you can see from the teas that I've chosen here for the cheddar tasting, I've gone with very strong, dark black teas. And the reason being is that a lot of people put milk into their tea, but because you're having cheese, that acts as your substitute for milk. So you're never going to put milk into a green tea because it doesn't have the body. So if you look at all the cups that I've chosen today, very thick, liquoring, dark teas, all with a lot of body to be able to balance out the flavours of the cheddars. However, some of them, like this Vithanok under here, have a thinner body. So I'm hoping some of the lighter cheddars in here will go with some of the lighter liquoring teas. So let me try another piece of this cheese and let's see which teas will go with this. Because it has that sea salt kind of character. I'm going to start off with a stronger liquoring tea like this one. Right off the bat, that's a perfect combination. That BOP1 goes exceptionally well. You're getting the balance of the strength in that tea, mixing out the saltiness in this, and you're getting a wonderful pairing there. Let me try that same cheese again, maybe this time with let's actually try it with a Somerset tea. Now, Somerset is located in the Muller region. It's located high up at about 4,500 feet, and this is a Pecco grade of tea. It's the seasonal grade that we made this year. So let's give this a go. That, not so much. The Somerset tea has a lot of body to it. It's got a bit of a bite, but what you do have is you've got an earthy, soily note coming through in these Thalawakale teas, and that I think isn't as it doesn't complement, nor does it balance out the salty flavour that you're getting in this cheese. You need something strong. So maybe something like the Assam, with its thick strength, will help balance out a very strong tasting cheddar like this. Now that actually works a lot better because the cheddar's strong, it's salty, it's quite harsh. The bulldozer strength in this tea, this is a very strong liquoring tea. If you look at the colour in this cup, it's very thick and it's starting to cream actually. And creaming, if you remember back from a few episodes that I said, is a desirable characteristic. It doesn't happen with all teas, but when it does happen, it's something that gives you an indication that it's a very well made tea. Those two go exceptionally well. Let's try the next cheddar. The next one I've got is a Montgomery Cheddar. It's again from Somerset. Let's give it a quick sniff. One thing off the bat is that it's a lot lighter. Getting that creamy aroma coming through. A lot lighter. I'm almost getting a fruity note coming through in this cheese. It's very nice actually. In fact, I'm going to take a bigger piece. A lot lighter, a lot more of a melon. citrusy, fruity component coming through. Now, one thing you find on cheese boards, whenever you have a cheese board, and by the way, the best cheese board that I've probably ever had has to actually be at Belletti House, and there's a reason why they actually won the best cheese board. Jody Marshall, who's the GM up there, if you ever get a chance to go, please go up there. It's a wonderful hotel. Has a great palate and a great nose for cheese. And one thing I noticed on that cheese board is that they always put out a bit of grapes. And when I asked him why is it that you put grapes out in cheeses, it's because sometimes that citrusy component that you get in the grapes balances out the flavours that you get in the cheese. And for this reason I chose an Earl Grey, because our Earl Grey, it's a low grown leaf, and we're using a small amount of natural bergamot oil. Now, bergamot is a fruit that's grown in southern Italy. A lot of Earl Greys use artificial flavourings, and when you use artificial flavourings you get that harsh taste at the back of your mouth. A lot of non-Earl Grey drinkers tend to like Earl Grey, simply due to the reason that it doesn't have that harsh taste on your mouth, and as they say, you're actually tasting the tea, which is the whole point. So I think this kind of cheese would actually work pretty well with the Earl Grey. I'm just going to cleanse my palate and taste a bit more of this cheese actually. Let's give this Earl Grey a go. Spot on. Montgomery Cheddar, Earl Grey, killer combination. Absolute killer combination. That fruity melony note that you're getting coming out in this tea, in this cheese, balances really well with the citrus flavour that you're getting in the citrus flavour that you get in the cup. But then, because you've got such a robust low-grown Ceylon leaf, you're having the strength to take through that creaminess into your palate and really enhance it. Big bursting of flavours there. That's quite a nice flavour. I'm going to try a bit of a wild card. In fact, the New Vithanakanda is actually a low-grown tea estate. Now, 55% of Sri Lanka's tea production happens in the low-grown district. And New Vithanakanda is probably one of the best tea estates in Sri Lanka. It's owned by a gentleman by the name of Mr. Pilipidia, who is a career planter. His father was a planter as well. But the factory is located next to Singaraja Forest. Now, I've talked about this in previous episodes. They use smallholder tea growers who bring in their leaf into the factory, and this is where they make the tea. Now, the one thing with Vithanakanda is because they lie so close to the Singaraja Forest, those forest flavours and those characters and those flavours that you get from the fauna and the flora and fauna around the area get encapsulated in this tea. As a result, you get a tea with this sweet honey caramel taste coming through. So I think with these kind of fruit flavours that you have in this cheese, I think it might work very well with this Vithanakanda. Let's have a taste. That is great tasting. That is a very, very good pairing. The sweetiness and caramel flavour, the forest flavours coming through in this tea come out exceptionally well against this cheese. So if you're going for something like a Montgomery Cheddar, has a fruity component, something like an Earl Grey, something like a Vithanakanda work exceptionally well. Let's move on to the next one. The next one is the Vale of Camelot, again from Somerset. Let's give it a quick sniff. In fact, let me wash my palate out first. A lot stronger. A lot stronger. Much stronger bouquet. And anyone who's watched the Tea Buyers Club, I always smell the teas just to get an initial idea. It's the same thing with cheese. You've really got to get into a cheese to understand. And usually I like to eat cheeses that are very strong, that are very stinky, that a lot of people stay away from. Those are the cheeses that I like to go for. And none of these cheeses here have that stinky component to them, but I've enjoyed myself doing this one. I'm definitely going to do another cheese tasting episode before the end of the year. Much more of a oaky, nutty flavour coming through. It's so amazing. 3 cheeses from the same county, 3 different flavours. This is what real food, when you look at provenance, not mass marketed food, food with provenance, does. Wow. Very oaky, very nutty. Tea would go with this. It's also got a thick, creamy aspect to it as well. Well, considering it's the last of the Somersets, let me try and get Somerset Tea Estate. That's a winner combination. Somerset and this Vale of Camelot cheddar, that nuttiness works so well with the earthiness in this tea. And this tea has a fact. That earthy aspect and that strength in the cup really work well in balancing out this cheese. The creaminess takes off a bit of the harshness that you find in this cup, but the earthy character blends in so well with the nutty aspect in this tea. Let's try that. In fact, let's try out my wildcard prediction. A lot of cheddars like to get smoked, and sometimes I quite like to have smoked cheddars. So I've actually gone for a Souchong tea. Now Souchong teas, lapsangs, initially came from the Wuyi province in China, and they were smoked over pine wood fires because locally in the area the flora and fauna has pine. In Sri Lanka we don't have any pine, so what they've done at the Handanagoda estate, and if anyone goes to Sri Lanka, I highly recommend that you guys go and visit this tea estate. It is a wonderful, wonderful place. The planter there, Mr. Home Gunaratna, is a veteran tea planter. He's been in the plantation business for, I don't know, I'm going to go with about close to 40 years probably, if not more. And he is the one who's in charge of this estate. It's his own personal estate. I think his grandfather owned it, and now he owns it. And they've created this tea, but what they use is cinnamon wood to fire the actual tea itself, which gives it a spicy, rich flavour, and great for Christmas time, by the way. So let's try this same Vale of Camelot. See how it goes with a smoky cinnamon finish. That works quite well. The nuttiness really binds in with that cinnamon, spicy finish at the end. That's a really nice combination. In fact, let me try that with the Montgomery and see how this tastes. No. Tea's too strong against the Montgomery. Those fruity flavours, they need a lighter cup of tea, so that isn't the kind of cup you want to go with. I think with these kind of walnutty flavours, let's try it against the Assam. Now, if you look at the Assam here, the cup has really, really creamed down. This is what tells you that it's a quality cup of tea. I don't know if you guys can see this, but there is a layer of film on top of this cup. It really tells you that this is a quality cup of tea, been made very well, and I'll talk about this in a coming episode. I was really, really impressed by this tea actually when I first saw it. That is a killer combination. Vale of Camelot mature, this thick, robust Assam. You need a strong, strong cheese, a very strong cheese to balance out this thick, brisk flavour. This is a strong cup. Assam teas are known for their bulldozer strength. As a result, you're going to need a cheese that's very strong, very creamy, that can balance that out. I don't think it'll ever go with something like Montgomery because it's lighter. So strong cheese, strong tea. These two work well, and I think that'll also go very well with this BOP one from Portugal. Now the last cheese that we've got isn't from Somerset, it's from across the border in Wales. It's known as the Black Bomber or Black Snowdonia, and I'll link all these cheeses up down at the bottom. This one I had a few weeks ago and I was pretty impressed by it, and I thought it would be a pretty good cheddar to try in the show. Let's have a smell of this one. Well, right off the bat, it's a lot softer than some of the others. And by the way, all these cheeses I've left out for about 45 minutes. A lot of the time people go into the fridge, pull out cheese, cut a piece off and taste it. You've got to let the cheese come back up to room temperature to bring out all the flavours. When you leave it in the fridge, you're holding off a lot of the flavour. So if you're ever putting out a cheese board for guests that are coming in or on Christmas Day, make sure you leave your cheeses out for at least half an hour. Let them come back up to room temperature, let the flavours develop. And a lot of the time, in all of the soft cheeses, when you leave it out for about 2 hours or so, they get very gooey, and that's where the real flavour comes out in these cheeses. So let's give this one a quick sniff. A lot more creamier, earthy note. There isn't you're not getting a nutty or melony component from this. Wow. I know you're not supposed to talk with food in your mouth, but cheese is very creamy, very thick, it just coats your entire palate. You get this almost light saltiness coming through in this cheese, but you almost get a pepper flavour as well, like green peppers coming out. You get a little spiciness in this cheese as well. It's very rich, very creamy. This is a wonderful cheese. I think for a cheese like this, because you've got so much flavour there, this is the kind of cheese that you want to have a grapey kind of grapes with, or a chutney. And for that, I'm going to try out the Earl Grey quickly. That's a great combination. The citrus in the bergamot fruit really binds with that creaminess. And one thing, and this is actually my brother who will remember from episode 10. If you don't, click the link below and you can watch us taste stouts. He found this out. He poured a little too much milk into his Earl Grey, and it gave a bit more of a creamier taste coming through. And I think with the stronger cheddars like this, and also like the Youngman's Traditional, because they're stronger, because they're a lot more creamier, the Earl Grey just binds so much better, because you've got a bit of that salty, peppery flavour in each of those cheeses. The robustness in the leaf really takes shape and helps enhance that flavour a lot more. Let's try this cheese against the Souchong. Our Souchong Serendipity. Let's see if it brings out a serendipitous moment. That's a great combination. That strong spiciness combining with a thick, rich cheddar. That's a great combination. I really like that one. That's pretty impressive. I'm having fun today. What are you guys up to this weekend? Tell me. From Saturday, 7 days. 7 days till my Ridgeback puppy comes. Can't wait. That's a pretty interesting combination there. I'm going to try that with the Vithanakanda. I think the Vithanakanda has quite a bit to offer on this one. Yeah. Absolutely. That's been pretty interesting, guys. Strong liquoring teas, 4 cheddars. I'm going to link them all up at the bottom of the show. Please have a look at them if you want to try them out. 4 cheddars, 6 different teas, all very strong, very robust. that can balance out the harshness that you get and the thick, rich, creamy taste that you get in these cheddars. Try it out for Christmas, guys, or even if you're entertaining some guests, put out some teas, put out a few cheeses. I've had a lot of fun doing this one. In fact, next episode, or maybe episode after, because we've got some teas to actually taste in samples, why don't we do another one, and then either we'll do a soft cheese or a Stilton. You guys let me know. Oh, another thing. I think it was, who was it? Was it Ballop or Ballab? I can't remember. I made a mistake last week about cardamom and cloves. Yes, you're right. Hands up. Thank you for picking it up. If you see any other mistakes, please let me know. And thank you so much for the interaction, guys. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any more questions about anything, drop us an email or drop your comments in the comments section below, either on Facebook or on YouTube. What are you guys up to this weekend? Let me know. Question of the day. Question of the day. What's your favorite kind of cheese? And I will leave you guys with that thought. Let me know what you guys think is your favorite cheese. As ever, guys, happy sipping, and thank you for watching.